So in this video, I'm going to show you the other side of the equation and how this journey of getting funded and getting payouts is not going to be an easy mountain to climb. There are going to be many challenges and I'm going through one right now. So what better time to do a video than now. So this year I have scaled up a lot my accounts. So I went from the low six figures into the high six figures mark. And one of the things that I noticed as this started happening is that all of a sudden, every time I was setting up a trade and I saw, okay, it's a 1 to 3, or every time I was running a trade and it was running maybe 1 hour, or I was taking a loss, I always had this monetary perspective of what was happening. I knew, okay, I've entered in this trade. If it's going to be a 3R times 0.3% risk, that's going to be X amount of thousands of dollars. And every time that I would take a loss, the opposite would happen, where I would go onto the dashboard and I would be like, oh my god, now I'm closer to break even. Oh my god, now I'm in drawdown. Oh my god, now I have to make this amount of R to get back to above break even. Because when you put this amount of capital on a pedestal, this normally happens when you increase your funding capital size. You start fantasizing about the good things that might happen. So when the opposite happens, you feel very happy when you see the win. So the opposite is going to be that you are going to be very sad if you take a loss. And that's exactly what started happening as I scaled up my funded account. I started thinking much more about the funding capital that I had and the money that I was going to make, instead of focusing on what got me there in the first place. And that's when I understood that I'm not really that ready to scale up my accounts this much and doing this many challenges when I'm in the public eye. And I know that I'm the person that is putting myself in the public eye, which is also contradictory. One of the things that started happening for me to get more funding, doing more challenges, focusing more on the payouts, focusing more on the numbers, was that I got way too entrenched in social media. I was looking at the possible payouts that I would get and I would be like, this is not enough. I would see myself in drawdown and I would be like, this is not enough. Why? Because I'm comparing myself with people that make 50K, with the people that make 200K in a year. I talked with JadeCap, which is going to be linked in the description, his Twitter, and he's made over $500 in prop firm withdrawals. And I'm comparing myself to these people, but I'm comparing myself to the good times that they had. And that's why this video is important, and I want you to listen very carefully, that you are comparing yourself to someone with a mask. On social media, you don't see me posting about the challenges that I failed. I think this year I failed one challenge. You don't see the people that are in drawdown. You don't see the people on YouTube and Twitter that are losing their funded accounts. You don't see that. And so when you are comparing yourself to me, you need to understand that you are comparing your full scope of reality, your full scope of experience with what I show you through this lens, which makes it incomplete. So this was one of the main reasons, so scaling up and comparing myself, that I started looking way much more into the money side of things instead of the process side of things. And then as I was walking, I was like, I need to message someone more successful than me and ask him if he also goes through this. And if he does, then what does he do to solve this? And I messaged JadeCap, which again is going to be linked in the description, his Twitter and his YouTube. I'll also shout out his YouTube. And I told him everything that was happening. I told him that I scaled up, and I told him that I was focusing so much on the money instead of the process. And I asked him, is this normal? And he was like, yeah, dude, that's normal. I'm still going through this. So he said, I'm still going through this. And he's funded with over $3 million and has gotten over $500,000 in payouts. And he still goes through this because it's normal. It's the scope of a trader. And what I understood, and me and him talked back and forth about this, is that life goes through an up and down journey. And the same thing with trading. It goes through ups, downs, ups, downs. And what ends up happening in these funding companies is that the ups is when you are focusing on the process, you are passing the challenges, and you are just in the zone. But the downs is when you start focusing on the money, you want to pass the challenge, you want to get the payout, you want to post on Twitter about it. That's when you are focusing way too much on the results. And that's why you get down. But then you need to go back up, focusing on the process. Down, up, down, up, down. And this is going to keep happening. This is going to keep happening. And you need to understand this. Why? Because you might look into this video and judge yourself. But the goal of this video is the exact opposite. Is for you to understand that this is the full scope of your human experience. It's normal that you are going to be focusing on the money. You are not always going to be on your A game. You are going to sometimes slack a little bit. Sometimes you are going to focus a little bit way too much on the money or a little bit too much on the prop firms. You're not going to do the things that got you there in the first place. But with discipline and these small habits that compound over time, you are going to go back into your A game. So you are down, but you will go back up, because that's the cycle of life. Just like trading conditions have cycles and markets have cycles where sometimes it's range bound and sometimes it's impulsive. Your life has the same things. Who do you know that is always happy? It doesn't happen. People go through ups and people go through downs. So why should trading be any different? And I want to make this very clear, because I don't want you to be judging yourself on a day-to-day basis on what you are feeling. Now, are there solutions to this? Well, maybe. Let me give you two. One of the things is that I need you to understand that since this is the full scope of human experience, I want you to understand that every time you're going through ups and downs, experience is going to be what is going to get you through life. And so I need you to understand that sometimes it just takes time, a little bit of discipline, and a little bit of journaling, reflection, and then focusing on the process on a day-to-day basis. If you do that, then you are on the right track to go back up into the good stages where you are focusing on the process, which basically means that the way to solve this is to keep going. And let me give you an example. So you buy a watch and you're like, oh my god, this watch is amazing, I'm going to keep looking at it, oh my god, it's such a beautiful watch. And for those that ask, this is the Tissot PRX. It's a beautiful watch. I'm always going to be checking the time. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. This happens when you buy a watch, when you buy something new, when you get a new funded account, when you get a new challenge, when you get a new car, whatever it is. You've experienced this. You've experienced this shiny object that you see after you purchase it. But let me ask you, you've bought that thing maybe 3 months ago. Think about something that you bought last year and you were super excited about it. How do you feel about it now? It's normal, right? It's a normal thing. It's a normal watch. I look at it to tell the time. It's currently 7:30 p.m. So what happened? Why are you not always looking at the watch? Why are you not always looking at the new car? Because it becomes the new normal. And so what I want you to understand is that every time that you get more funding, the normal thing that is going to happen is that you're going to be like, oh my god, I got a new funded account. If I rest 0.3, it's 100k more. Okay, that's $300 more. I'm funded with $1 million. Okay, that's going to be $3,000 per hour. Oh my god, let's go. This is sick. So you're going to be focusing on the money, but then everything is going to go back to normal. It's going to be your new normal. You got $1 million in funding. All of a sudden, you are able to go through these process-based decisions again because it's your new normal. Whatever, you've experienced this before. But for some time, you need to understand you are going to be looking at your watch. You're going to be looking at the dashboard. You're going to be thinking about, okay, I'm funded this much. This hour is going to be this. Amazing. So I want you to understand that this is normal. And this is the main tip that I can give you in terms of when you are getting more funded, when you are passing more challenges, when you are getting more profit splits. This may happen, but with experience, you are going to go back to normal and, well, it is going to feel normal finally. And the other thing is that, of course, you can also buy something focused on psychology because it's a big part of trading. This is a psychology problem, so to say. But every psychology course has to be paired with a lot of experience because no matter what I tell you right here, if you don't experience it, then you are not going to learn because most of the things that you are going to learn are going to be through personal experience. That's why I say don't be in demo for too long. Don't be learning for too long. Just apply things into the market. Get this thick skin that is then going to make you a better trader because you have experience behind you. This is how funded accounts are hurting me. If you want to see the companies that I am personally funded with, you can check the links in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section if you took some value from it and put this emoji on if you are still here. Hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you next week.